Chapter 12. How do I feel? Andy's first visit to the psychologist. December 12th. Andy, my name is Dr. Carruthers. I'm glad you were able to come today. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I guess. Hey man, I ain't never seen no black shrink before.
Well, here I am. I went to the University of Cincinnati for my undergraduate and my master's degree. I got my PhD from Yale. Man, I can't even pass chemistry. You make a bunch of cash? Yes, over $90 an hour. That's heavy, man. I'm impressed. You must be real smart. I can't even spell psychiatrist. I'm no smarter than you are, Andy. I struggled through high school. I worried about my math grades, and I always had trouble in English composition classes. But I kept going, and I found out that it wasn't impossible. In college, it got easier. Once I figured out that I was capable as the next dude, maybe more. And now I'm a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. What's the difference? They make more money. No, just kidding. They can dispense medication, and I don't. There's a couple of other differences, but that's basically it. And you can help me? Let's just say I'm going to try to help you. Help yourself. I'm no magician. That's fair, but I still don't think I need to be here, especially at almost $100 an hour. Who's paying for this anyway? Your dad's insurance mostly. They feel it's worth it. Yeah, I guess they would. Now, we both know your parents have requested this counseling for you, even though you say it's not necessary. They're very concerned that the automobile accident in which you were involved may have affected you more than you are aware. We know why they want you to be here. Why do you think you need to be here? 'Cause I'm depressed. But I don't need a shrink. Not even a smart black shrink. I'm fine. School is fine. Everything's just cool. Can I go now? I'll tell you what, Andy. If at the end of this hour you have convinced me that everything really is fine, you don't have to come back. Bet? Bet. Okay, take your time and just tell me what has happened in your life since that night. It doesn't have to make sense. Just let the thoughts come as they come. Talk to me, Andy. What we say here doesn't go out of these doors. That's a promise. You'll be surprised how much better you feel if you just talk about some of the jumbled up thoughts in your head. Well, if you say so, but I'm really okay now. I have headaches sometimes, and I can't sleep some nights. But I feel a whole lot better than I did right after the accident. How did you feel then? Like a piece of crap. Why? 'Cause it was my fault that Rob died. Why do you say that? I was drinking. I was driving. Do you think Rob blames you? I don't know. Probably not. He was such a cool dude. He took everything real easy. Nothing hardly ever upset him. So maybe you're blaming yourself for something that Rob forgives you for. Maybe. What was it like when you first went back to school? Most of my friends were very understanding. Most of my teachers were cool as teachers can get. They do have their limits, you know. Some of them smiled a lot. Most of them just kept piling on the homework like nothing had happened. None of them ever took the time to sit down and talk to me and ask me if I was having any problems, except for Coach Ripley. He's an okay dude. He's your basketball coach? Yeah, but like I said, I don't really care. I can take it. You can take what? Did you get any negative reactions from people at school? There were a few bad things that happened, like the note that I found taped in my locker that said "killer," and the kids who wouldn't look me in the face. I never figured out if they were embarrassed or angry, but most people adjusted. How did you feel about that? The note on your locker. Do you think you're a killer? Nah, man, I ain't no killer. I never wanted to hurt nobody. But he's just as dead. What difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference, Andy. Don't you think Robbie knows that you didn't mean to hurt him? I don't know, man. I sure can't ask Robbie, can I? Why not? Pretend I'm Rob. Ask me. I know that, and you know that, and even Rob knows that. But let's just try and see what happens. Ask Rob if he blames you. I'm sorry, Rob. How can I ever make you know that how sorry I am? I know you are, Andy. It's okay, really. I don't blame you. Maybe all of this was meant to be. We can't always see the big picture, you know? Yeah, ma'am, but it's rough. Hey, that's enough of the stupid pretending. Okay, that was great. Tell me about basketball. What's it been like for you without Rob? How do you know about me in basketball? You working from a script? No, Andy. In my initial interview with your parents, they shared with me that they thought was important to your life. Things like basketball. It was all very surface information. There's a lot about you that they don't really know. You ain't lying there, man. You could talk to them all day and never find out anything about me. Do you think your parents understand your problems? Heck no. Sometimes I think my parents ain't even got a grip on reality. My mother lives in La La Land. Do you know that she still says Negro and refuses to call us Black or African American? At least she doesn't say colored. She does say that her skin is not black and will never be, and she doesn't know anyone from Africa. Why should she change what has worked perfectly all of her life? I give up trying to convert her. What kinds of things is she interested in? She's active in her sorority activities, which to me seems kind of stupid. You got a bunch of black women, forgive me, Mother, who graduated from college 25 years ago, who meet once a month to talk about the good old days. That reminds me, she keeps the station on her car radio set to one of those oldie stations. If I hear the Supremes one more time, I think I'll scream. Does she ever listen to your music? Be for real. Anyway, they plan meaningless activities like coalitions for girls like Rhonda and Keisha. She once asked me if I would like to be an escort for one of the girls. What'd you say? I almost died. Me? Put on a tuxedo and dance the waltz with some pimply-faced girl whose major goal in life is to master the bass trombone? I don't think so. So me and my mom kind of stay out of each other's way. We don't dislike each other. We just don't think alike. Well, what about your dad? My dad is another one who can't deal with the real world, although he doesn't think so. He's active in the Republican Party. Yes, I said, Republican. Isn't that disgusting? If you say so. He's got a good job working at Procter & Gamble, where his main function, as far as I can tell, is kissing up to white people. He's the vice president of something or another, some office they created when affirmative action was real popular. He's got a car phone and a fax machine. I guess he thinks he's got it made, but he doesn't make it to very many basketball games. Too busy or out of town, usually. Does that bother you? Sometimes. Do you think he realizes how it hurts you? Man, he hasn't got the slightest idea what I think about or care about. He once told me that he hoped I'd go into the business world with him when I finished college. But I plan to use my lips for kissing beautiful women, not the soles of some bald-headed white man's feet. You know, I can't even remember the last time he was in my room. He yells at me through the door every once in a while to turn down my music, but he never comes in, and I wonder why. Well, why don't you ask him? Ah, man, I ask him a question and I get a lecture. I gave up asking him questions when I was 12 years old. It's easier that way. Well, what about your little brother? Now you're talking. The only one in my family who is really cool is my little brother Monty. But I worry about him. I think when he gets to be my age, he's going to have a lot of problems. I know he's only 6, but he doesn't think black is cool. And he's got this thing for little girls with yellow hair. Yeah, I worry about the kids sometimes. Are your parents concerned? My parents are no help. They don't know there is a problem, let alone how to solve it. Monty gets a lot of attention from them, though. More than they ever gave me. I'm not jealous, but I think they like him better. He's still cute and charming and hasn't started to get rebellious or misunderstood yet. Like you? Like me. So how's it going now that you're playing ball again? It was hard at first getting used to Rob's empty seat at school and going by his locker. But basketball, instead of being harder, got easier. It's like I could work out my feelings on the basketball court. The coach gave me his position, center. How'd you feel about that? I felt proud, but I also felt a little guilty because I never could have won that position from him. He was the best center that Hazelwood ever had. Oh my goodness. So, why did you accept the position? I decided that he would have wanted me to have it, so I worked really hard and I improved my game. I'm averaging 17 points a game. That's good. Do you feel good or guilty when you have a good game? Probably a little both. I say that's normal. Tell you what, Andy, come back next week and let's talk about school. Bet? You say so. I thought I didn't have to come back. There's not really much to say about school, anyway. Well, I'd like to talk to you a bit more, if that's okay with you. I really have enjoyed meeting with you and talking with you. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Later, man. And that is the end of chapter 12.